Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here. We are almost ready for our top 4 on the B side. We have myself casting it this time together with Simon Bernard, also known as Ryo. Ryo, the guy, looking very good today. How are you feeling today?
Why am I so pixelated is my question. Anyway, welcome in everybody. Hope you're all having an amazing time with the Alpensee tournament. So far, we've had some fantastic. It's like I'm doing so good, and it's been an amazing day. Like I woke up this morning and I was like, we need good BGC today, and we got good BGC. And it was just beautiful matches and beautiful sets all around.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been enjoying myself behind the backstage, and I'm very excited to be able to go here, talk about this top 4. And I just got one request to everyone in chat right now. Please, just tweet out our stream. You know, we're excited. I'm so happy that we're able to bring this. Thank you again to Code Centric as well, being able to sponsor this. And I'm very happy that we're able to cast over one of our own Alpensee members as well. So honestly, this is the full package deal, so to speak.
Yeah, we have two very strong players coming up right now. We have Sanvy and Sela. Our captain. What do you want more from our captain than actually win our tournament? But we can't be biased. Sanvy, also a very good friend of mine. I am very excited to see this because not only do we have like two strong players going up against each other, but we also have like two of the most interesting teams in the format going up against each other. Two of the most day one teams. Right? Yeah, it's like there's a Charizard Y, as far as I know. Yeah, there's a Charizard Y with the Venusaur. Like a very strong combo. You have the Sun, you have the Garchomp, you have all these Pokemon. Like it's this was on the table day one, right? People thought about it. And then we have the team that come out afterwards, like something people weren't immediately aware of, namely the Mega Flood, right? Mega Flood with all the support, the redirection, fake out, double fake out even, a King Gambit, an Aerodactyl for speed control. So these two teams are what you initially what the meta is built around.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've been playing quite a lot myself. I've played Floette, and Floette just feels so strong. Amazing ability, of course, thanks to that mini Xerneas feeling, you know? Like, you don't have that Geomancy boost, but you have the necessary support with being with Incin and Sinistcha, and the discovery, because, like, it's been, like, every day there's been something new discovered, for example. Like, Aerodactyl is supposedly somewhat new to say, because it's one of the fastest Pokemon. It has amazing support with Tailwind. It is the fastest Pokemon. It has Unnerve. It has Rock Slide, Dual Wing Beat to make sure that sashes on something like Sneasler gets removed as well. It just covers nice, and that's one of the really nice things that I like about this small kind of meta. And on the other hand, we have Sun. We know how strong Charizard Y is. We know that Venusaur is able to sleep powder about everything on the opposing end. Which is the exciting thing, to say the least.
Yeah, the one thing I think is very curious is the energy ball on the Venusaur, right? Usually you would expect us to run like a Leaf Storm, just like go one big damage and then go for it, and like knock out all the Pokemon. But here, Sanvy opted for like the energy ball, just a little bit less damage, but also probably more consistent because you can use it more often and maybe get stuff in range that you would otherwise not be able to get with 2 Leaf Storms. So this is a very interesting set. Also, a lot of Sneaslers are not running Protect days, and so we see both Sneaslers running Protect.
Yeah, both Sneasels running Protect, and look what we're running as well. It's the top 4 match, Sela versus Sanvy, Garchomp and Basculegion from Sanvy's side, while on the island, Sela is going with Floette and Incineroar. This is a classic lead on the Incineroar side, on Sela's side, being able to fake out and try to get a Calm Mind up. But now, with these humongous beings in front of them, let's see if it's able to do anything.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, you can always fake out the Garchomp here. I think that's pretty safe. But then again, then you have to tank the Wave Crash. So like, do you want to go for the trade-off of like, you know, faking out, or maybe going for a parting shot here? Do you want to reposition? Or do you just want to go for the straight-up Dazzling? Because you can always expect the Basculegion to just go for a flipped one, right?
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed, but it's very likely that the repositioning is something that Sanvy maybe want to do. Because like, if you go for a Wave Crash into flat and you don't get it, right? Because it protects, then suddenly you just have these 2 Pokemon on the field that then might get outpositioned by a Sinnoh.
Yeah, outposition, position, reposition, Garchomp to Venusaur. Venusaur comes in, providing to be a useful Pokemon to switch in with that resisted typing just as well, making sure with that, thanks to that poison typing, is able to deal damage to that Floette and also deal some damage. As we have our Mega Floette going for that Mega. Fake Out won't go into that Basculegion, so let's see what the Basculegion is doing. It is going to be that flip turn, doing just a little bit under half, like so very respectable damage, certainly after an Intimidate onto an Incineroar.
Yeah, you can already guess what's coming in here. It's either it's going to be the Garchomp, or what was more likely, the Charizard Y. Coming out here, taking the Dazzling Gleam. Both of these Pokemon should take it pretty well. It's still a good chunk of damage for the fact that it's resisted. But now you have the Sun mode coming up. But first, Incineroar is going to switch out, going for Parting Shot, allowing Sela to reposition itself as well. Now, what do you bring out? What do you want to bring out in the face of a Chlorophyll-boosted Sleep Powder and a Heat Wave to boot?
Well, the thing is with Sleep Powder, it is also one of those moves that's not very accurate that you have to count on. Because, for example, if Sleep Powder does miss, for example, Aerodactyl does look like to be in a nice position. Floette itself has a very good special defense stat, meaning it is able to tank moves a little bit better on the special side from, say, the Venusaur and the Charizard. Especially after that one parting shot that we just had onto that Charizard. But yeah, we can see Sela is thinking about this clearly as well. What the best option is against this Sun duo, because this is one of the most feared duos that you're up against, and Sela has opted for that Sneasler this time.
Yeah, we can be happy that there's no Terra Ghost or Covert Cloak, because otherwise Fake Out, there would be nothing stopping this Venusaur from just putting stuff to sleep. So definitely good that we don't have that item here. We're gonna see a Fake Out most likely coming out from Sneasler, or maybe even the Direct Claw into the Venusaur. But one thing is clear: this Venusaur needs to go. It's the only thing that's stopping the potential Aerodactyl in the back from actually running Rampage.
Yeah. So yeah, as you said, the potential Aerodactyl, we don't have quite a confirmation yet, but there we go. Mega Evolution, Charizard Y setting up the Sun for its partner Venusaur. Being able to get that Chlorophyll boost plus 2 speed will be the fastest thing on this field. Outside of this Fake Out, of course, will not be able to move here. Now at -1, let's see how much this Heat Wave is doing from the Sun. Still very respectable damage as his Floette has opted to go for a Calm Mind in a position where you would think, oh, this is going to be a struggle against these two resist. Taking a little break and thinking to himself, you know, I can do this. I'm Floette. I'm built different.
I feel like this is a very good play here, right? Because Calm Mind sets you up like you're running into a lot of resisted Pokemon here, right? You have the Charizard that's resisting all the Fairy type moves. You have the Venusaur that's resisting all of them. Like this, you can actually set up to do a lot of damage to them, because we can see how much damage we had initially, but now with the Fake Out chip, this Venusaur might actually go down to a Moonblast. So now what Sela has to do is has to call whether the Incineroar is going to come in, or whether to just attack the Floette right away or go for a Sleep Powder.
Yeah, we have the Floette opting for the Protect, switching in the Incineroar. Incineroar, amazing switch, especially against these Fire-type moves. There we have the Sludge Bomb going into that Protect here right now, so Charles going for the Wet Ball. So it was a double up trying to get this Floette away from the field, but now another Fake Out being able to reposition this Floette to get maybe even another Calm Mind or just get the damage in, because of course we can't forget that you do have the option of protecting, but the turns of Sun are being outstalled. That means for every passing turn there will be less turns of Sun and less power that this Charizard is able to output.
Yeah, and with the Sun comes also the power of Venusaur, right? So as soon as the Sun is out, Venusaur is not going to be able to put stuff to sleep anymore with its increased speed at the moment. So if Sela manages to stall this and actually get the Floette into position with several Calm Minds, there's nothing that can actually damage it anymore except the Basculegion, because the Garchomp also is not going to do a lot with the Intimidates. So the Basculegion is the only Pokemon that's actually a threat here. We see the Sludge Bomb coming out, Fake Out into Charizard, making sure it doesn't move. Because of the Calm Mind, Floette hangs on, actually survives this turn, and is able to go for a Moonblast into the Venusaur, and this probably puts it to KO, and with that, Venusaur's out for the count.
This feels... I'm back at Xerneas days. Like, a resistant Moonblast being able to kill a Pokemon like that. Yes, this is Xerneas Light, so to speak. Garchomp now being able to come in, being able to provide the physical offense, and also just being speedy, having the same speed set as Floette, but we already have the confirmation that the Charizard itself was already faster. So Right now, Sela has to find a way to reposition. You can protect, for example, your Fluet and just let the Sneasler go down so that you can bring back into your Incineroar in that regard. But then again, Sanvy is might be able to adapt to that to try bring his Bascal Legion in at one of these turns or not KO the Sneasler that is forced to go for a fake out in that turn where the other Pokemon can focus down on that Fluet.
So no matter what Sela has in the back, I think we're gonna see the Pokemon soon enough. But we see this instant switching into the Sneasler. Whatever it is in the back, it has to be able to support this Flood properly, because right now we see the double protect, very safe play from Sanvy, but as soon as the fake out pressure is gone, right? As soon as this double fake out blender is over, this Flood is not going to be able to move again, right? Charizard's going to outspeed and KO, probably. Garchomp is going to outspeed and KO. So where are you going to get your positioning from, right? The Flood, like, you need to somehow get some speed to some damage.
Yeah, exactly. Now, with Sneasler is able to potentially get some shenanigans going with something like a Direct Claw, but depending on the speed set of this Garchomp itself, because we haven't seen yet how the speeds are interacting. We did see that the Garchomp went for Protect first, I believe, and then the Charizard, which is common knowledge, but we haven't quite seen it with the Floette, because I don't remember if the Floette protected first or if the Garchomp did.
I'm very curious to see also what the last Pokemon is, because like maybe if you get the call right here with like an instant switch or like a Sinistra switch, you could get something going. And we see the Incineroar coming in, so still keeping it a secret what the final Pokemon is. We only know the two fake out Pokemon and Floette. We see a close combat going into Garchomp, just doing some chip. That's actually a lot of chip.
Yeah,
60% on this guy.
Yeah, that's some chip there.
Doing some damage, activating Sneasler's Whiter, but I think the Sneasler is not going to be in this game for long, as there's going to be an Earthquake coming out. Double ground weakness on the field right now.
Ooh,
good
instant
for this Incineroar.
Yeah, instant being able to survive it at least for one turn. But there's still the Charizard to move, and the Charizard is very well going for that Heat Wave. Does manage to connect and does manage to get this Incineroar down, meaning we have Floette at what I feel was like 20 HP, and now one more Pokemon in the back that is able to come in. Now, I am seeing something that you might be seeing as well. Aerodactyl, the Pokemon that we've been talking about, is the fastest Pokemon here. And it is able to provide something like a Tailwind or even a Rock Slide here. But we need to think about the Bascal Legion back. So as long as you don't have speed control, you're not able to really be able to defeat the Bascal Legion on its own. And as long as the Garchomp, like any other Pokemon, is able to be faster than Floette, Aerodactyl 1v1ing everything seems a tad bit hard.
Yeah, I think if you can position like the Bascal Legion right next to the Garchomp somehow, you should be doing pretty well here, because like Charizard's also still pretty healthy. So there is no way you could just go for a Tailwind and a Dazzling Gleam and knock both of these Pokemon out. Maybe just like getting the call right, going for like 2 Rock Slides should be a good way to just make some progress. But then again, as you just mentioned, the Bascal Legion is just looming in the back, and this Bascal Legion has Aqua Jet, which might actually be enough to just clean up this game on its own.
Floette opting for the protecting itself. Let's see if this Aerodactyl is making some magic happen. Rock Slide connecting on both the Charizard and the Garchomp. Charizard will go down, of course. Now let's see if we have some flinch magic, because where there's Rock Slide, there is a way. Yeah.
Oh my god, we almost finished each other's sentences. I wasn't sure if you want me to go for that. But here we are. Rock Slide coming out. I mean, the Garchomp is also going for a Rock Slide, and I think that just seals it up, because now double Aqua Jet should do the trick, right? If I remember correctly, this Bascal Legion only went for a flip turn, switched out, and then didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
So theoretically, what we're seeing here is basically just coming on, like locking into Aqua Jet twice. Floette just protected itself. The only way you could potentially get rid of that, or potentially fix that, is by maybe going for a Tailwind and hoping Floette survives the Aqua Jet. They do run a little bit of bulk on the Calm Mind sets, so that could be an option. But otherwise, I don't see a way how Sela gets out of this.
No, this seems like a very tough situation. You know, the magic quick guard, suddenly the 5th move reveals itself suddenly here on this Aerodactyl. But I'm not seeing a good position, but Sela is already thinking about like the potential of the following game, clearly thinking what the ranges are as well of this Bascal Legion and how to approach it in the following game, because what we saw was a beautiful double switch earlier from Sanvy, trying to make sure that the both resistance boosts were able to just tank the hit from the Floette and making the Floette not feel as useful as it is deemed by the community, because it is a very strong Pokemon. Earthquake and Last Respects will clean it up, and that is game 1 going to Sanvy.
Yeah, that was really well played. Like, initially it looked very good for Sela, just positioning the Flood on the lead nicely. But then, as soon as both Vino and the Garchomp actually, Vino and the Charizard actually hit the field, it was just very hard to go through this, because you cannot switch anything into the Heat Waves. You don't want to really switch anything into like a potential Sleep Powder, even though Sanvy never opted for it. So Sanvy just not taking any risks, going for just going for the continuous damage sludge bombs here. And that one sludge bomb that the Venusaur got to do was actually enough to bring the Flood low enough.
It did some really good damage as well. That's the main thing. That's the good thing about like these Sun teams, where I do think like they have like the nice synergy. Because seeing like a Basculegion onto these Sun teams is not something that you see all that often, but I do like it as an early breaker with the wave crashes, for example, or even like having repositioning tools for later. And let's be honest, Last Respects is an absolutely broken move that is able to swing games left and right, and something that you need to respect. And that is exactly what happened here in the end as well, on Sela's side, where a Scarf Basculegion is just able to make sure you will need to respect it and think about that end game.
Yeah, the Basculegion just left immediately and like on turn 1, and
I'll be back.
From there on, it was just, yeah, it was like, I'll be back. You just knock out 3 of my friends. I'll be back.
I'll take revenge. It's cool.
But that's exactly what Basculegion is there for, and that's also why it's so good, right? Scarf Basculegion also, like, you just wait, and then you always have a delete button, right? And it also tanks a lot, right?
Yeah.
In this low level power format, Basculegion is like a Pokemon that's just, you can just put it there in the end game, and it might actually survive whatever you throw at it, except like a Sucker Punch from Kingambit. Everything else is like,
it just
hang on
seems,
to.
Yeah, it just seems like a
Kingambit
Pokemon perfectly compassed around.
Yeah, and that's also, I'm pretty sure that's also why like Kingambit is such an important piece for Sela, just to get rid of it. But you don't want to bring Kingambit to like a Sun team. We see the Sun lead immediately from Sanvy. How do you bring a Kingambit into this matchup like that?
Yeah, this seems hard to bring a Kingambit in. But right now, how do you deal with the onslaught of Sleep Powder, as this Venusaur is able to potentially go for the Sleep Powder with the Sun setup? Make sure that the Aerodactyl is not able to do anything. Now, that is a risky play. So, something you could do is, for example, just go for the Mega, protect with the Mega. Even though that seems like a bit weird to do, you do have the Sun set up in that regard. We have the switch out for Sela from the Fluid into that Incineroar slot there.
Yeah, Incineroar coming out, saying hi, intimidating both of these special attackers. Not gonna do a lot, but you know what? Incineroar is a good Pokemon to like also just fake out Imparting Shot a little bit. You don't need to intimidate all the time. We see the Mega from the Charizard, as you mentioned, like coming out, just giving this Venusaur the Sun it needs. If we don't see a Protect, I think, coming from it, we see the Protect coming from the Aerodactyl. Is Charizard going to Protect? No! We're going to go for the Sleep Powder right away. So gambling on it connecting straight out. Sanvy knowing he's a game ahead and taking the odds here. Heatwave following it up, doing not so much to the Incineroar. It's like a little bit of a tickling right there. But yeah, now the fake out, the option for fake out is live.
Yeah, fake out Tailwind, very viable, very good to have as well, because that's the thing that Aerodactyl does do well as well, is being able to hit the specific pain points of Sun. Being with rock type moves, you're able to KO the Charizard. With the flying type move, do a wind beat, you're able to try and KO the Venusaur as well, Sneasler even. The main issue is then Incineroar being able to intimidate and come in, but last game, Sanvy didn't bring it. So, did Sanvy adapt here, trying to scout out a Aerodactyl lead? The Charizard is switching out. It is going to go to that Garchomp instead right now.
So now we already know 3 pieces of Sanvy's team. Right now the fake out goes into Venusaur, so we don't see a Protect. Tailwind's coming out. This means that for at least the next 4 turns, excluding this one, Sela will have the Tailwind up and will have the speed attack. Oh, it's actually including the 4 turns. So yeah, now the Incineroar is ready to just click Flare Blitz into things if it wants to, because the Sash on the Venusaur is also broke.
Yeah, Sash broken, and that is also Incineroar's now positioning, being able to go for a parting shot into one of these slots, for example, with that increased speed stat, do a wing beat, very nice damage dealer. onto this Venusaur, and even if something else switches in, the only real good switch in would be that Incineroar. It is actually going to be the Basculegion, and we already have mentioned the Basculegion is quite of an HP beast. And let's see how much this is doing. We mean still just barely below half.
Yeah, now with the instant Sela has to move, goes for the classic parting shot, just reducing the damage of this guard jump. And now the thing with Basculegion right now is none of the Pokemon on Sanvy's side have been KO'd. The sun is up, so all the water type moves have basically do no damage. And there's just a Floette standing on the field that's ready to do Fairy Aura boosted damage into everything you have.
And the Aerodactyl dodging the Rock Slide, the incoming Rock Slide at -1, and Floette tanking this quite well as well. And now Floette, as you said, at +2 speed, being able to now threaten multiple KOs on either of these slots, because you would love to switch in your Venusaur or your Charizard onto this Floette. But then this Aerodactyl is the perfect partner, being able to deal with those two so well as well. So Sanvy now has to see what the way he has to approach this. The Basculegion is the one switching out. It is going to be that Venusaur, not trying to try his luck with any Rock Slide moves, as the Floette is going for that Mega Evolution.
Yeah, with the Mega Evolution, Sela is really just ready to click Dazzling Gleam here. The one thing that's really important for Sela is to properly cover for any switches. If Sela covered with the dual wing before the Venusaur switch, knowing that this Basculegion was gonna go down to Fairy Aura boosted Dazzling Gleams, this is actually the cover he needed to make to get ahead in this game, because Tailwind is still up. After this, you can just click Rock Slide, and then you're ready to go. Dazzling Gleam comes out, no protect from the guard jump, just knocks it out straight away, and with that, suddenly, it's 4 against 2.
Yeah, 4 against 2 with a great lead, and Sanvy sees the writing on the wall, goes for a forfeit. That means that we are going to game 3 at the animation later. Schmom, don't forget. Actually, yeah. So that means we are 1-1, Sela versus Sanvy. These two Goliaths right now, showcasing the power of the sun and the power that is Fairy Aura. So we have Mini Xerneas versus Mini Groudon, you know?
What an this is such an interesting set, right? Because both players are just like out-positioning themselves from turn 1 onwards, right? We saw Sanvy game 1 winning because the immediate double switch, right? Keeping the Basculegion in the back, not letting Sela get the Tailwind up, immediately winning the game from there, right? Now, we're in game 2. We see the opposite. Sela bringing the Aerodactyl on the lead, switching the Incident, getting the Fake Out turn right, going for Tailwind, immediately locking the game from there with the parting shot into the Floette, and then just covering every switch you potentially can have. Now, how does Sanvy adjust? How does Sanvy get back to actually flip the tables again and get onto Sela's like bad side with the position?
So, position-wise, I do think that something like his own Incineroar would be interesting, especially against something like the Aerodactyl. It is still risky with the idea of, like, of course, King Gambit, and that we have to check out if what the positioning will be, and what position we will see right now as this game 3 is starting. Charizard and Venusaur from Sanvy's side, again trying to go with the Sun lead as Aerodactyl King Gambit. So if there is going to be a Incineroar in the back trying to intimidate this Aerodactyl in the back, in front right now, it will have to deal with this King Gambit as well. But we mentioned this before, do you bring King Gambit to Sun?
I feel like it should be an unspoken rule. Don't bring King Gambit to Sun. But maybe Sela is gonna prove us wrong here. Just putting the King out there. I mean, there's probably gonna be an Incineroar in the back. So there's 2 Kings on this team: King Incineroar and King Gambit.
Hey.
So the question is, how do you position so you don't fall to the Sleep Powder from this Venus, right? Because that's the most threatening thing right now. This Aerodactyl needs to get the Tailwind up. From then on, the game looks pretty solid in Sela's favor.
Yeah, if you're just able to dodge, you know, like the age-old trick of, you know, just dodge.
I like it.
Yeah, it's not a bad call, because Sleep Powder is, of course, not that accurate as is Heat Wave. But yeah, we having the switch out again. Incineroar switching out for that King Gambit, giving that Intimidate again to a special attack. It's not very effective, as Charizard going for his Mega, setting up the Sun thanks to that Drought ability and getting an increase of quite a bit of stats here. And now with the Sun, the power of the Sun, the Venusaur will be the fastest Pokemon on the field. Aerodactyl going for the Protect. Let's see if the Venusaur called out. This instant switch at a Sleep Powder is still going into the Aerodactyl slot there.
So, just like in game 2, Sela got it right. The Incineroar is not falling asleep. And that means a Fake Out and a Tailwind is just waiting to happen. And with that, Aerodactyl is once again the fastest Pokemon on the field, and it should be straightforward to get damage out. But I'm pretty sure Sandy is right. Sanvy is a good player. Sandy has played this game for years now, and so there has to be a plan he had in mind for when this happens. The question is just, what is it gonna be? Just gonna click Sleep Powder into the Incineroar, maybe?
So what I'm thinking is like, what if, for example, right now Incineroar can switch in, you can get a fake out in the following turn, trying to get some damage onto the other Pokemon coming in for later. But it seems rather hard. Charizard is the one switching out. Is it going to be the Garchomp again? It is the Incineroar. So it is the adaptation that we expected it. So suddenly this Kingambit looking quite okay as it is able to try and make sure that this other Incineroar from Sanvy's side is going to be potentially switching out and then being able to punish that Intimidate with a Defiant boost. Tailwind comes up on this Aerodactyl as right now the fake out did go into the protected Venusaur.
I also like the adaptation with the Incineroar because Incineroar now is able to click Fake Out into the Aerodactyl, so keeping your Venusaur safe. Also forcing the Incineroar on Sela's side to potentially so you can't click Parting Shot because it's gonna fall asleep. But we see the Venusaur actually switching out into the Basculegion and Fake Out coming out into the Incineroar. So not really making a lot of progress here, just repositioning a little bit. But the Intimidate's already showing this Incineroar is barely taking any damage, as well as the Basculegion on Sandy's side.
Yeah, Incineroar flinching after that fake out. Still, Tailwind is up. Aerodactyl is still the fastest Pokemon on the field. Not doing all that much damage thanks to that Intimidate drop. But Sela's Incineroar might have an idea of what to do as well. Because the sun is up, meaning that that earlier flip turn with that Intimidate drop only doing 50 is now about to do the same thing. So a Wave Crash is very likely to be able to KO the Incineroar right now. Sela is going for Rock Slide. There is a way. And it is super effective on the Incineroar, as we can see. But is it enough to flinch? It is enough to flinch. Oh my days.
The Rock Slide flinch coming in clutch, allowing the Incineroar to go for a Parting Shot, switching out, and you can guess what's coming in here. It can be the Fluette to basically immediately start setting up. But what if this Incineroar went for a Parting Shot? Ooh. Do you want to switch in Kingambit to get a double boost on Defiant?
Ooh, I want to see this.
That's a call Sela can make now. It's the question to what this Incineroar is going to do. It is yet to move. 45 seconds to think about this. You have to think, what do you want to bring in? Sela goes for the Kingambit. If this is a Parting Shot into that slot, this could be terrible. Yeah,
it is just going to be a throat chop into the Aerodactyl. Sanvy not risking anything right now. But now, with the sun up, with the Tailwind up, Aerodactyl still looking mighty fine. Another throat chop will KO this Aerodactyl. Do you want to keep this Aerodactyl as long as possible? So a switch into the Incineroar could very well likely happen with that Aerodactyl, as this Kingambit is able to throw out a move as well. But you have to have a little bit of fear in your heart, because that is a Incineroar which is still a Fire type.
Yeah, Fire type Sun Boost at full ability is something this Kingambit doesn't want to see, which is also why we earlier mentioned maybe don't bring your Kingambit into a Sun matchup. But this Basculegion has been an issue so far, so I understand why it's here. The question is just, how do you use this Kingambit usefully right now, right? Basculegion is switching out, just going to reposition itself, because once it comes back in, it can Aqua Jet the Aerodactyl for a KO. And we see the Sucker Punch going into that slot, being completely ignored. Ooh! And the Rock Slide knocking out the Incineroar with a good amount of damage right there.
That was a crit!
Stop. Crit coming in, actually clutch. I thought this was just a good roll, but the crit coming in, knocking out the Incineroar, giving Sela one out more to win this game. Sun is up, sun is out, but the Charizard is still waiting in the back.
Okay, so the Charizard is waiting in the back. Are we gonna see the exact same play as turn 1? Meaning, Sleep Powder into Aerodactyl, switch in Incineroar, while the Aerodactyl goes for its own Protect. No, actually, Sanvy is opting for a whole other idea of making it harder for Sela to guess what's going to happen. If you Sucker Punch into the Basculegion, that means that there will be a Basculegion being able to Aqua Jet still in the Aerodactyl, as there is going to be a Sleep Powder. Actually, this is a really good position for Sanvy, I just realized.
Yeah, the Aqua Jet into Aerodactyl is something you have to get, you have to also consider, because if you get that wrong, you basically don't get any Sucker Punch damage. We see the Protect coming out, so Sela predicting the Aqua Jet. The question is, did Sanvy predict the Aqua Jet and the Sleep Powder. What is the Venusaur gonna go for?
Yeah, there is the Sleep Powder, putting this King Gambit to sleep and getting his first turn of sleep. We do know that now the Basque Legion is locked into Aqua Jet, and now we have a next level play that we can do. So, Sela can switch out to something else to try and take this Aqua Jet, but then the Venusaur is able to Sleep Powder yet again. Or Sanvy might be able to predict something like that happening. Still going for that Sleep Powder into that right slot, but switching back his Charizard, which is exactly going to happen as we have the switch out to the Charizard, setting back up the sun. Venusaur is back to being the fastest Pokemon on the field.
Yeah, now what stops Sanvy from just clicking Sleep Powder into everything? We're just going for straight up damage, because this Venusaur also has Sludge Bomb, and it is not a bad move. We see the Energy Ball coming out, just doing some consistent damage, and importantly, as mentioned before, not dropping Venusaur's special attack, which is gonna come in clutch. Wait, Gambit wakes up immediately, goes for the Kowtow Cleave into the Charizard. And wait a second, now things are looking scary.
Yeah, because you do have Fake Out into that Venusaur slot. Sanvy going for that Energy Ball, not risking a Sleep Powder miss there. Very wise choice, trying to kill that Aerodactyl. But instead, now Incineroar has the potential to Fake Out into that Venusaur slot, and there is the range of Sucker Punch onto this Charizard as well. So suddenly, this turn 1 Wake Up, this King Gambit, is a very important chess piece in this match.
Yeah, like, the RNG is going left and right in all of the directions here. King Gambit waking up immediately. We see the Protect coming out from this Venusaur, and a Protect coming out from the Charizard, just like making sure you don't get faked out on either of these Pokemon. But then Sanvy still has to call which Pokemon is gonna get Sleep Powdered. Or just outright, like, you cannot KO the King Gambit because it resists both of Venusaur's moves. So you kind of have to call it right on what you're gonna knock out here or what you're gonna put to sleep, because the Incineroar is also threatening with a Flare Blitz.
Yeah, and there's still 3 more turns of Sunlight, meaning that this Basque Legion won't be able to click any of its strong Water-type moves without it being resisted somewhat, or like lessened in power at least. So, is Sanvy able to wiggle his way out of here? Charizard is the one retreating, going to the Basque Legion. Let's see if Sela called this out or not. Sucker Punch just going into that Charizard slot, not working. Let's see, Sleep Powder this time. Sludge Bomb onto the Incineroar, will be able to kill it. Perfectly played there by Sanvy, trying to make sure that, okay, at least the King Gambit hasn't done any useful moves, and with this, the Incineroar is gone thanks to that Spadef drop from that earlier Energy Ball. Now, what does Sela have still in the back?
Can I quickly say, just before we discuss this, that I didn't know that Energy Ball drops special defense? That is just crazy.
Yeah,
That's a crazy new knowledge I've acquired.
It's 10%.
Crazy. And now, that actually impacted this game so much, because the Incineroar just gets knocked out with its lowered special defense, and now you have to bring in the Aerodactyl, but the Aerodactyl also is weak to the Aqua Jet, right? There's one more Pokemon that's not revealed yet, so this might actually just be the Floette. We don't know yet. It could also be Sneasler. Maybe Sela left his Mega at home. No, we see the Floette coming out. And now, what is this teeny tiny flower gonna do against the power that is right in front of it in this Basque Legion?
Yeah, Last Respects will get boosted thanks to that adaptability, and with the KO onto that Incineroar already as well. King Gambit does threaten a KO on the Basque Legion. Floette is able to Calm Mind once against this Venusaur I'm trying to set up. But as long as this Venusaur is the fastest thing on the field, there is Sleep Powder, and Sleep Powder is still a very strong move to do. We saw earlier the first turn wake can happen, but if you're able to do it multiple times, no team can go up against this.
Yeah, with the Sun Up and also this moveset of the Venusaur, King Gambit is currently only threatened by a Sleep Powder, so you can theoretically just protect the Floette and go for something like Kowtow Cleave instead of going for a Sucker Punch. Because we've seen Sanvy play around the Sucker Punch like so far, like all the time. Floette goes for the Mega Evolution. We still don't know what it's going to go for, but it's definitely going to activate the Fairy Aura. We see the Sleep Powder going into the King Gambit, so Sanvy predicting a Protect from this Floette and going for the Sleep into King Gambit because it is the most threatening Pokemon. Last Respects comes out. Floette hangs on. What are we going to see? We're going to see a Dazzling Gleam straight into these two Pokemon. Basque Legion hangs on 10 HP and barely doing any damage to this Venus.
Yeah, King Gambit taking his first turn of sleep again, but still, awkward position. You need to get the Charizard out. You need to get some damage onto this King Gambit somehow. One more turn of the Sunlight remaining. Floette is able to be in range for a Sludge Bomb. But just as well, a Sucker Punch could very well KO the Venusaur from this range, depending on spreads and whatnot, because Kingambit is still a very scary Pokemon despite losing Terra. It is still carrying that Black Glasses item, which boosts all of its Dark-type moves. We saw earlier how much Kowtow cleaved it earlier, and because the Basculegion is locked into a move, a Sucker Punch could very well come out as well. Floette going for that Protect. Venusaur going for the Sludge Bomb onto that Floette. Not working this time. No Sucker Punch from the Kingambit yet. Last Respect onto the Kingambit. It is boosted just a little bit. Just a little damage. Let's see if Kingambit does some magic again. He wakes up again! Kowtow Cleave into that Venusaur slot, meaning there's no more way for this Venusaur to put this Kingambit to sleep. And that means there's 2 Sucker Punches away from winning this game.
The wake up was so clutch. Now all you have to do is go for switch in. And yeah, Sanvy knows. Sanvy sees the writing on the wall. He's not even going to send his Charizard back in to just get Sucker Punched out of the game. Sela's winning it with the double wake up in turn 1. This was crazy. The new adjusted sleep mechanics are so insane. Like, you put something to sleep and he immediately wakes up.
Yeah, that is mental to say the least. Very well played there. It is a bit unfortunate from Sanvy's side, of course, with the immediate wake ups. I can't even argue about that. But the Kingambit was already in a good position against 2 Pokemon that are not able to really hit it that hard. So the Kingambit was gonna have another opportunity to try and wake up in the following turn, which means that Sanvy had to try and outmaneuver it again. So that first wake up was more likely the somewhat more important one than this one, but still, positioning, you know.
It's crazy how good this Kingambit was in this matchup.
Yeah,
it's like,
so you don't bring Kingambit to Sun. Who brings the Pokemon that melts in Sun?
The Incineroar got knocked out by the crit. Then we saw the flinch on the Basculegion. Then we saw like, there was so much RNG. People are gonna think this tour is rigged if Sela is gonna win. What is going on? But we've all seen it live. We've all seen it happen right there.
Yeah, that was
That's a game and a half.
Yeah, that was a game and a half. I like Kingambit. Don't get me wrong, but wow.
This was a beautiful set. Like we've seen a lot of positioning from both players. We've seen like taking advantage of like, you know, predicting the Sucker Punches, switching into other Pokemon, taking advantage of the weather and everything, and that was really well played by both players.
Yeah, I just realized as well, because the flinch on that Incineroar and then the crit on that Incineroar, that Kingambit was able to stay. Kingambit was just able to stay. So a lot of things had to go well to protect the King, and all of those things went well for the King, you know? Sometimes.
Yeah, it was crazy how this Kingambit was just able to stand there and chill. That's all it did. It stood there and it chilled, and that's crazy that like it actually managed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sucker Punch is a very strong move. Black Glasses boosted Sucker Punch. Like we had to deal with Terra Dark for almost years now, 5 years, whatever it is.
Too many.
We had to deal with it for so many years, and now it's still here. It's just such a strong Pokemon. But also next to this Mega Flood, like we've seen the Mega Flood getting out one Dazzling Gleam and just doing so much. This Pokemon is incredibly powerful. And it now made it all the way to finals.
Yep. Like, Mega Floette showcasing again, like, how powerful it is. And then, of course, Kingambit as well. And this team is, like, what people came up with to say, let's beat the meta. And the meta was Sun, and right now, the team is beating it. So, we are gonna take just a very, very small break, but we'll be right back with finals. You can... I don't know, sing a little song. We'll be right back. Get a drink, get some food, get some popcorn, because we're going to finals, baby. And I forgot to do it. Yep.